One, heartbreak from a deceptive romance, I reconnected with an old friend after her divorce, and our connection sparked instantly. Within 3 months, we went from casual friends to seriously discussing moving in together. The pace was dizzying but exhilarating. Every move I made toward her, she reciprocated, and it felt like we were in sync. I was head over heels, convinced I'd found true love. Then, out of nowhere, she ended it. She confessed she never cared for me and was only using me as a placeholder while she searched for someone she deemed worthy. My heart was shattered, and I've never felt such betrayal. 2. A secret family revealed at a funeral my grandfather was a stoic, working-class man. A classic northern dockworker who'd come home expecting dinner, then head to the pub via the betting shop. After a predictable heart attack, we gathered for his funeral. Our family is large but tight-knit, so we knew all his friends. Except one man about my father's age showed up unknown to us all. Turns out he was my grandfather's son from a second, secret marriage. For over 40 years, my grandfather maintained 2 families, 7 kids with my grandmother, one with another woman. Shockingly, both families knew of each other but stayed silent. My grandmother, it seems, endured this and other hardships in their marriage. She lived 20 years after his death, and I believe she was happier in those years. The other family, including the son, knew of us too, and his presence at the funeral was a bold move. 3. A scandalous wedding revelation when I was 5. I attended a wedding reception for my friend's older sister. She was 18, just out of high school, and marrying a much older man, which caused whispers of scandal. Years later, in high school, I was chatting with my debate team coach about past coaches. He mentioned a former teacher who was fired for dating a student on the team. When he named the couple, I was floored. It was the same couple from the wedding I'd attended. This happened in Chicago's far west suburbs in 1986 and 1996. The family, devout Mormons with a high-profile father, moved away after my friend graduated. For a neighbor's threat disguised as concern across from our house is a grow house, obvious from the smell. One day, an elderly woman from 3 doors down warned us to be cautious, citing a black SUV lingering outside our home. She implied it was unsafe for 3 young women living alone, so we assumed it was tied to the grow house. Later, we discovered she was running the grow house, and her warning was actually a veiled threat. 5. A shocking father-son reunion while heading to a corner store with friends. A man exiting stopped one of my buddies and asked for his mother's name. My friend answered, and the man asked if he was friend's name. When he confirmed, the man revealed, "I'm your father." We were stunned. He even pulled out a photo of himself, my friend's mother, and my friend as a baby on their living room couch. They spoke privately, and we gave them space. My friend didn't bring it up afterward. 6. A roommate's bizarre celibacy ritual. My college roommate, a devout Catholic, disapproved of my older boyfriend. To save me, she invited me to a celibacy celebration while I was studying in the Commons. Suddenly, a chilly breeze hit, and I noticed a group forming a circle at the only exit, holding hands and chanting, "No sex until 30, no sex until 30. As I tried to leave, their chanting grew louder, blocking my way. I eventually escaped, but discovered she'd thrown out my expensive sex toys and journal. I moved out after 1 quarter. A year later, swapping roommate horror stories with friends, a new friend shared her tale of a loudly masturbating lesbian roommate. Turns out it was the same person, just a year apart. And no, she didn't throw out my toys or journal. She'd kept them. 7. A suspicious death and missing records. I'm convinced my uncle faked his own death. One day, his coworker called my grandparents to say he'd died. His wife had already cremated him, and no service was planned. There's no death certificate, no obituary, and he hadn't contacted the family in 7 years. It was all so sudden and untraceable. 8. A childhood crush's shocking turn. Growing up, I had a massive crush on my neighbor, my best friend. I thought he saw me as a little sister since I was a year younger, so I buried my feelings as we both dated others. When he turned 16, his family moved away and we lost touch. Years later, we reconnected online. During a casual chat, he admitted he'd had a huge crush on me as kids and even asked my mom for permission to date me. She said no, and he respected it. She never told me. My childhood longing felt like a lie. I considered pursuing something with him to resolve the what if, but he suddenly stopped messaging. A mutual friend revealed he'd been arrested for killing someone over a debt and is now serving life in prison. 9. A deadly twist in a widow's new romance. An elderly neighbor's husband died a year ago. She'd struggled with alcoholism, which he'd helped manage. Soon after, she met a man online who moved in quickly. He was often seen buying large amounts of vodka and whiskey every few days. Police later inquired about the couple, suspecting they'd married, possibly so he could inherit her valuable home if she died. Then, 2 police vans, an ambulance, and crime scene investigators appeared at her house. No one's been seen there since. Initially, I thought he was exploiting her addiction to kill her for the house, but neighbors say she killed him to escape his abuse. She's now in a secure facility. 10. A covert lesbian breakup. I met a recent divorcee, and we clicked instantly. Within 3 months, I'd moved in with her and her young son, whom I grew to love like my own. After 13 months, she abruptly kicked me out, admitting she was a closeted lesbian and had used me as a cover. The betrayal stung deeply, and losing contact with her son added another layer of pain. 11. A rabbi's painful betrayal. My rabbi was married with kids when his wife announced she was a lesbian and in love with another woman. The revelation hit hard. She called him repulsive, leaving him with deep intimacy issues and a fear that any woman he dates might be secretly gay. He's been in therapy to process why someone would do this, and his libido and social confidence have suffered. The sudden end of the relationship, the loss of connection with her son, whom he saw as his own, and the humiliation of others gossiping behind his back have left him with social anxiety. 12. An adoption discovery. During citizenship. While applying for U.S. citizenship in his 40s, my father learned he was adopted. His mother, brother, and sister, whom he thought were his biological family, weren't. It didn't affect his citizenship. He's now a citizen retired in Florida, but it was a shocking revelation. His mother never intended to tell him. 13. A threesome that changed everything. My boyfriend pushed me to have a threesome with a woman I barely knew. I wasn't attracted to women and felt uneasy, but he encouraged me to spend time with her to get comfortable. I did, and ended up leaving him for her. 8 years and a child later, we're happily married. 14. A small world paternity surprise. A friend I met online became close over the years. In 2016, he received a Facebook message from a young man claiming to be his son, conceived with a woman my friend had slept with years ago. The young man's mother was my high school best friend's older sister, who'd had a baby at 16. I used to babysit him and have photos of us together. Sadly, their relationship didn't work out due to the son's anger issues. Coincidentally, the pregnancy happened in Ontario, where both my friend and my best friend's family were from before they all ended up in my area. 15. A family secret uncovered. My mom, adopted, suspects her older sister, 15 years her senior, is her biological mother. When my grandmother died, my mom tried to investigate, but family backlash stopped her. I'm determined to uncover the truth someday. 16. A manipulative coworker's deception. A coworker, after breaking up with a bartender, pursued me, claiming his ex was stalking him. He publicly shamed her at work for being obsessive. We dated briefly, but at a party at his place, I saw her in pajamas, realizing they'd reconciled without him telling me. The next day, he told everyone I tried to seduce him and make him cheat. His lies turned coworkers against me, and his behavior grew threatening. I sank into depression, unable to explain myself since I was labeled the homewrecker. I suspect he manipulated his ex through emotional abuse. 17. A one-night stand turned soulmate. At 18, I had a one-night stand that left me unimpressed, so I swore off casual hookups. Later, at a nightclub, I spotted a guy who looked like the one from that night. Annoyed, I curtly asked his name to confirm. It wasn't him. Feeling foolish, I softened and we hit it off. He didn't notice my initial tone and we ended up marrying. I'm certain it wasn't the same guy, different name, different vibe. 18. A fabricated life unraveled. My father, after retiring, moved to New Orleans and befriended Tom, a supposed retired Army general. Tom claimed to be a Korean War veteran, a ranger, and a key figure in the Federal Air Marshal Service post 9/11, even saying Colin Powell pinned his second star. He shared vivid stories, like solving a bleeding issue for air marshals with my physician father. As Tom was charming, with photos of his late daughter and tales of his military exploits. As a Marine reservist, I was awestruck by his stories. He even wore his general's uniform to my father's funeral, tossing his gloves into the Gulf as a tribute. But after Hurricane Katrina, my sister-in-law revealed the truth from Tom's sister. He was no general, no ranger, no air marshal. He was a small-time lawyer who'd adopted his brother-in-law's military persona. His dead daughter and wife were alive, but had cut him off. He lived with his daughter after the storm, but his lies crumbled. My family never spoke to him again, torn between his betrayal and his genuine kindness. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss the next chilling tale.